Yeah, because a couple of the podcasts, I'm like, why is, like, that mic kept going out, and I couldn't figure out why. It's because it kept getting loose from here, and I fucking, like, because I would feel it click, but then I'd push it in deeper. I was like, oh, deeper's always better.
Yeah, there you go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of How to Do Drugs. I'm your host, Aaliyah Janine. Today, I have the wonderful Lizzy Cassidy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. You were supposed to be on a while ago. I remember we were very drunk, and I'm like, I started a new podcast. I'm going to have you on.
Yeah.
And now you're on it.
If I had a nickel for every time I got drunk and told someone I'd be on their podcast,
right?
I'd be on a lot of podcasts.
I have a lot of nickels. I'd be very rich. Maybe able to pay a month's worth of rent. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But yes, I do, because I have a list. Like, I'll write it down. That's the thing with ADHD and, like, getting fucked up, especially if I'm doing coke. Like, all those great coke ideas, I actually try to follow through on some of them.
Yeah, they're usually actually good ideas.
They're not bad ideas at all. I mean, some of them are a little retarded. Like, we're going to go on vacation for the whole summer and travel. It's like, okay, money is a factor with that
But the idea isn't bad.
Yeah.
You know, like, the idea of going on vacation for a month is a great idea.
Yeah, just, like, travel all over Europe or something like that. Yeah. I got, rich people were able to do that when they were younger. I mean, even now they could do it because they're rich. But yeah, like a lot of business ideas, a lot.
Starting a band even though you can't play any instruments.
I love music. I'm not.
Me neither.
I'm like, maybe the drums, like if someone taught me, I could probably, because I'm a good dancer. Like I was a dancer. But now that I think about it, like I see all these dance moves on TikTok and stuff like that. And I don't think I could dance anymore. I feel like I may have lost that love and feeling.
I think that happened to me when I stopped drinking.
Yes. Okay. So yes, let's talk about that because when we first met, like drinking a lot, we were partying a lot, and I remember us discussing about how you love drinking.
Still do.
And
love it.
Yeah. And that, like, you wouldn't quit, and that it's just, like, who you are. It's a part of your thing. And now...
And then I quit.
And then you quit.
Probably shortly after I told you.
You wouldn't be the first person on this podcast.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, after the podcast, like... The first person, Ryan Shaner, had nothing to do with me, and then now you. Yeah. I was like, maybe it does, though.
Yeah, maybe it's like a curse or something.
Yeah, I mean, I help people become sober. They see how much of a disaster I am.
No, it was all internal.
Yeah.
It was all the stuff nobody else was seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quit 6 months ago.
Okay, congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah.
7 months ago, I was like, I'll take a month off, and then I'll just... change my relationship with alcohol, because the end of that month was my birthday, and then for my birthday, like, weekend, I drank for 3 days straight, and I was like, fuck, god damn it, I can't change it, so I just quit after that.
Oh, you're just like, oh, I'm just done.
I mean, I had to go to a program for a couple days. Yeah. Did that, that helped a lot, and then after that, I was like, I'm just...
You're just done.
I think at the beginning I thought maybe I'd start drinking again in a couple months or something, but the longer I went without doing it, the more I was like, oh, this is just how it's got to be.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not ever going to be able to be someone who can have, like, 2 beers and go home. And also, like, what's the fucking point of having 2 beers? Like, I'd rather go home and eat a loaf of bread, because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm not, there's no reason, so it's like, whatever, I'll just stop.
Have you, because you work in bars, being a comic and stuff like that, has it been difficult, like, working? Yeah,
I mean, yes. It's hard not to drink, but it's easier to do stand-up sober.
Yeah.
At first I was like, because I'd gotten so used to at least having, like, a drink before I went up. At first I thought I'd be, like, too nervous or something, but the longer I've done it, the more I've realized that it's like, oh, like, I'm not, like, everything's, like, right here. You know, like, I'm not forgetting anything on stage or anything. Not that I really was before, but, like, maybe a little bit.
Yeah. A little more sloppy, definitely, when...
Yeah. I'll, like...
night progresses.
Yeah, I've been, like, thrown up on shows, like, that are pretty late, and because I didn't know I was going up, I'll, like, get hammered, and then be like, I can do it. And then for the rest of the night, you're, like, thinking you crushed. And then I listen to the we're recording the next day, and it's like, I don't know, you guys fucking, like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's so embarrassing.
At least with the late shows, a lot of those people are also annihilated.
Right, yeah.
So they understand you because they're at the same level.
Yeah, you're speaking the same language.
Yeah.
Very much. Yeah, I've noticed with those shows, like, I can't say that I'm sober now, because it's like, you don't want to ruin everybody else's good time, you know? I just have to pretend I'm like, yeah, we're still partying.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I love the party. It's great.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, when I first started, it was always, at least one, drink before I got on stage. Now, for a while, a couple of years now, it doesn't matter if I have one or not.
Yeah, I was 20 when I started, so for the first few months, I couldn't drink before I went on because I was, like, so scared that I was going to get kicked out of, like, bars that had open mics if I ordered a drink. And then I turned 21 and it was like, oh, none of these places would have carded me.
Yeah, probably not.
So then, like, once that happened, I was, like, just drinking, like, all the time. Like, before I went up, after I went up, in between, like...
Were you a big drinker before you turned 21?
Yeah, I mean, I started drinking in high school, probably, maybe like 8th grade or something. But for the most part, I was actually, like, more of a weed person, more of a stoner, because I always drove. Like, I was always, like, the person with the car in high school. And, like, you know, when you're in high school, you think that driving high is, like, fine, which, like, you know, whatever. But, like,
I've always driven.
But, like, I was, like, obliterated. It wasn't like, oh, like, take a hit and then drive. It was like, I would be, like, smoking
super
all night
stoned,
and then drive. But it was like, as long as it wasn't alcohol, it was okay, you know? But yeah, if I was anywhere that I could, like, sleep over or something, I was, like, gonna drink as much as I could. Like, when I was in high school, we would get, like, Mike's Hard Lemonades.
Nice. And
drink half of them and then fill the empty half with lemonade flavored vodka and Malibu.
Oh, that's such a high school thing.
Yeah, until we threw up or blacked out or whatever. I was talking to someone recently about, like, have you ever gotten so drunk you woke up with a backpack on?
Oh, yeah, no, I've woken up, like, I remember one time I woke up in my bathroom, like, half my clothes on, half my clothes off. When I was a stripper, I wake up with, like, dollar bills still in my clothes. Like, didn't even shower before I went to bed. It was like, ugh.
I woke up with a backpack on, and I was like, when would I have put a backpack on? It turns out my friends thought I was so drunk that they put it on me so I couldn't roll on my back.
So I throw up myself. Actually, that's brilliant.
I think that's so smart.
That's super smart. Very,
I think
great
it's a great
friends.
idea.
Yeah.
Really I mean, they weren't going to, like, stop partying to keep an eye on me, but they did put a backpack on me, which is cool.
Be like, this will keep her from drowning in her own puke.
Yeah. Friends don't let friends asphyxiate on their own vomit.
On their own puke, especially when they still want to party. That's the thing when you're younger, too. Because you do more. Because you have, your decision-making part of your brain isn't fully developed. So drinking an entire bottle of peach schnapps or whatever the fuck kids would 100%. Drink was normal. Be like, yeah, this is what we do. This is what adults do. They just drink until they black out and throw up.
Yeah, I remember when I was in high school, there was, like, one, I think everybody had, like, the one house where the parents would let you drink in the basement or whatever.
Yeah.
It was my friend's house, and one night he got so drunk he went upstairs to his parents' bathroom and took all his clothes off and started throwing up. And we were drunk too. We didn't know that he was out there. And I think he had, like, had a temper tantrum before, so we all just assumed he was, like, mad at us or something. And his mom found him in the bathroom, and she came downstairs and yelled at all of us and was like, you need to learn how to take better care of your friends. And I'm drunk and, like, 16 and have a shitty attitude, so I was like, you need to take better care of your son. And she was like, you all need to get out of my house. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. That sounds about right.
Oh, yeah. My house, my mom, it's like out of sight, out of mind. Because she said that she would rather have us be somewhere safe than out and about. And then our friend Justin and Jill's house, and they had a bunch of land and shit, like farmland, and some of it was just a field. So we would have bonfires out there And then we'd just sleep out there in the summer and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then in the winter time, we would be in the basement, in their basement.
Yeah, we had a friend who had the same deal. Like, his parents had the, like, huge backyard that was, like, mostly woods. And then, like, the basement, they were, like, the same. Like, we'd rather you do it in the house.
And be safe. And they would take the keys and shit like that. There'd be a bowl with the keys in it. And most of the kids' parents knew that that's where they were going to go. Because we're going to do it regardless. At least be safe about it. Yeah. And in Wisconsin, that's, drinking is kind of just normal.
Yeah, I'm from upstate New York. So it's like,
not that much different. Anywhere
there's nothing
where
else to do.
Really cold, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Drinking it, because it also, they're like, it keeps you warm. It's like,
it does.
No.
It does.
No, it just keeps your brain from thinking that you're cold.
Yeah, but, I mean, isn't that most of what being cold is?
My brain just thinks I'm cold. It's not... I'm not losing my toes.
No, it's okay. It's fine. Who cares? I also think, like, I know people now grew up without basements. And, like, I'm like, where did you party?
Yeah.
Like, basements were, like, the whole thing when I was in high school. It was, like...
Unless we lived in an apartment, we always had a basement. A couple of the basements were even finished. I remember my room was in the basement. I had my own bathroom. Yeah, my dad always wanted me to have my own bathroom because I had 2 brothers. And I was the older girl. I think maybe because of also his sister, growing up with all dudes and not having her own bathroom.
Yeah.
It's like, you need your own bathroom. So
That's nice.
I was really blessed with that most of the time I always had my own bathroom.
Yeah, I shared one with my mom, and my brother and dad shared one, which I feel like was better than, like, me and my brother having to share one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because dudes are gross.
They're gross, and also, like, we're both going to school at the same time in the morning.
And trying to get ready, and then the whole puberty thing is just weird.
It's a nightmare. It's a humiliating nightmare. But I was fucked up for most of it, so I don't really remember.
Yeah, I want to say a good pretty much all of it was probably all a blur, just very fucked up. Did you ever do any other drugs in high school?
Oh, yeah. Mostly coke. We did a lot of coke when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I dated a guy who sold coke.
Nice, very convenient.
That's pretty cool. Still don't know how much it costs. Did it every weekend for a long time. Couldn't tell you. So that was fun. And then we would do... My friends were all, like, hippies.
Okay.
So, like, we would do, like, mushrooms and, like, Molly and other stuff like that. I was always, like, afraid of acid. Mm-hmm. And then I did it once, and it ended up being, like, a research chemical, so I was right. And every time I did mushrooms, I was already, like... already drunk or high or something.
Yeah.
So I don't really, like, remember any of those, but I was, like... By the time I was in high school, I would have tried anything.
Yeah.
Like, as long as I could get my hands on it, I would try it.
Of course I'm going to try this.
Yeah,
This sounds like a great idea. You don't know unless you try it.
Yeah, why not? And I also, like... I don't know, I didn't believe that drugs could be, like, bad for you. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, that's all, like... propaganda.
Well, you see those commercials, and after you smoke pot, you're like, everyone is lying. Yeah. The government is lying. Drugs are great.
They're great. They're so fun.
Yeah.
Getting high in high school is like smoking weed is like, nothing feels like that.
Nothing.
Like, smoking weed as an adult is so lame compared to when you're like 14 in your friend's car smoking weed, and like, everything is the funniest thing that's ever happened to you.
It's the greatest thing
oh my God.
ever.
If I could bottle that specific
feeling,
like, oh my God, that would be amazing. I wouldn't need anything else. That's the best.
Because even when I, take breaks from smoking or something like that, and, a couple of days, it's normally only a couple of days or whatever, and then I'll smoke again, it's still not that same feeling.
No, it goes away.
Yeah, it also, I think, has to do with the age and just because you're learning about life and stuff like that. I have a new bit about that, about the comparison between doing drugs when you're younger and doing drugs now.
Yeah, it's so it's way less fun.
I do now I microdose because I'm sad, instead of like playing in the woods acting like a fucking fairy. Yeah. No, I do it because I'm sad. It does help. Microdosing does help. We've talked about it a lot.
Now we're all like self-medicating. And it used to be like, do you want to do something crazy?
Let's do some cocaine. Yeah, just insane. Yeah, I do them now for their medical benefits. It is kind of counterproductive to doing drugs, but I guess that's what coming of ages, getting older.
Yeah, you gotta figure out what works, you know? What makes you the most productive?
Yeah, sometimes when I run out of Adderall, I'll get some Coke.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, it does help.
It does help. I know. I couldn't get like Adderall or anything in high school because I was like diagnosed with ADHD, and my mom was like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, she was like, work harder.
See, they wouldn't even diagnose me. I never even went to anything like that.
Yeah, I got tested, and mostly to convince my parents that I wasn't just dumb, you know. Mm-hmm. But then I didn't like get any Adderall or anything. But I started doing Coke, and I would like do my homework. Yeah. Like, I'd be like, I need to do something, and I have all this homework that I've never done. Yeah. You know?
And then you do a bump, and you're like,
I understand now.
I get it now. Yeah. I'd be like, I have to do a bump to do fucking laundry. What the fuck? Yeah. That's not fun. It's not cool. No. I mean, at least I'm using drugs responsibly.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? But when I do Coke now, I mean, even... Because when I was in porn, I didn't really do Coke. In my 20s, I did a bunch, because that's my favorite. Cocaine is my favorite. And obviously, I think the ADHD probably has something to do with that. Not really a lot in my late 20s, 30s, barely at all. It wasn't until I started, doing comedy and hanging out with a bunch of comics. All of a sudden, I started doing more. Yeah. But it does, to get... like a normal high off of cocaine when normally one person would need only one line. Right. I have to do more. Otherwise, I'm just functional.
Yeah. And, like, I stopped liking Coke as much when I started really loving drinking. Yeah. Because I love being drunk.
Yeah, they go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, but then I would do Coke, and because it makes me, like, functional, I would feel less drunk. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, no, I want to be drunk.
So then you drink more.
So then you drink so much.
Yeah, you drink an obnoxious amount.
Yeah. When I went to the program I went to when I quit, they were like, how many drinks do you have in a night? And I was like, people know that? Yeah. Like, I black out every night. I have no idea how many drinks I've had. Like,
I lose count after 3.
What an insane question to ask me. I'm obviously here because I don't know.
Yeah. Be like, bottles are missing. How about that? Yeah. Bottles are missing. Yeah, when I was younger, being able to drink a bottle of vodka and drive and be functional was normal. I don't know. I still got hangovers, though, when I was younger. I mean, not as bad now. Now I need a whole week off. Yeah. To recuperate.
No, yeah. But the last, 6 months that I was drinking, it was bad. Like, the hangovers were, brutal. But, so then I would start drinking again.
To help, yeah, because that's just what you know.
Yeah, and every day it's like, I'll just drink a little bit today because I'm hungover, so I'm not going to get drunk, but I'm just going to, get back to normal, and then one person is like, do you want to do a shot? And you're like, whatever, let's stay out till 5.
Yeah, it's Monday.
What are we doing?
It is crazy how alcohol does that. Yeah, some people, they can't just have one. I can. I could go out, I can have one beer and be like, okay, that's it, and then go home. But there are certain times when all of a sudden, I'll get a taste for it. It'll be that taste where I'll have one glass of wine, and I'll be like, fuck, it's going to be a drinking night. But I don't have many of those anymore. Over quarantine, I was ridiculous, but now, now I'm kind of back to my... pre-quarantine, ex-boyfriend, where it's like, I drink once a week, maybe, if that. I'll go out and actually, get drunk maybe once a week, but otherwise I'm not drinking. I got rid all of the bottles of wine that I normally had here, because I like wine. If I'm drinking at home, it's normally just wine. I have all the alcohol now is just for guests or whatever.
Yeah, I was, during, full lockdown, I was drinking every night. And, sometimes my friends and I would, hang out on Zoom, which is, pathetic. Yeah. But I would go to the liquor store every day because I love drinking, and I'm so, I'm such a drinker that I couldn't, have more alcohol in the house.
Because you would just drink it all that night.
Because I would just drink it all. And I lived alone, and I was like, I can't.
Blame it on somebody else.
And, I also can't, that's not safe, you know?
I get alcohol poisoning.
There's no last call in your apartment.
Oh, no. And you have no one to put a backpack on you?
No backpacks, nothing. So, I would just buy, 2 bottles of wine, and then that turned into, like, 2 bottles of wine and, like, a flight bottle, or, like, a little, like,
yeah. Oh, it got to be more and more. There was one night I got so hammered. I got myself so hammered that I woke up in my bathroom with, like, puke everywhere.
Oh my
God.
I
did it myself, by myself. I had no one to blame but myself.
It's crazy. And then, so I was doing that every day, and then I was like, okay, this isn't actually going to last, like, 2 weeks like I thought it was going to.
I thought that was cute. People thought it was going to be 2 weeks.
I fully, like, every week I was like, this is it, because I was, like, lying to myself because I was miserable. But then I was like, okay, I need to, like, chill out on the drinking every night by myself. So for, like, a month after that, I would, like, sometimes go buy, like, White Claws or something, but I wouldn't get drunk every night. I'd have, like, 2 White Claws or something. And then a month after that, I was going to go, like, for the first time, hang out with some friends in, like, a backyard or something. So I was like, oh, I'll go buy a bottle of whiskey to go hang out with my friends. And I went to the liquor store, and the cashier at the liquor store was like, if I had your address, I would have done a wellness check on you. He was like, you came in here every day for months, and then you disappeared. I thought you were dead. And I was like, oh my God. Like, that's insane. The only person who was worried about me during lockdown was the liquor store guy.
It was the cashier who kept selling you the liquor. Because he's like, wait, is he liable for that? You know, like, in some states, the bartenders are liable if they overserve people. And shit, like, does that happen with a cashier over quarantine?
I would, like, go into the liquor, this is so embarrassing. I'd go into liquor stores and pretend to be on the phone and be like, what do you want? So that it wasn't obvious that I was drinking all of it alone every night.
Oh, that's a true alcoholic move there. That's super manipulative.
Oh, I did all those. I would, like, have, like, a flask in my purse when I would go to a bar, like, to save money, which, like, I wasn't saving money. I was still drinking the same amount plus whatever.
Plus whatever you had, That's just a bonus.
But I also, like, I was hanging out with people who weren't drinking as much as, like, everyone was getting drunk, but I was drinking way more than everyone else. And I, like, didn't want them to know. So I would be like, oh, like, if my friend was like, give me, like, a single tall whiskey soda, I'd be like, oh, I'll get the same thing. And then I'd, like, go in the bathroom and, like, pour more whiskey into mine. So then it was like, yeah, we're all drinking the same amount, right? Yeah. This is totally normal and cool on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm not over drinking at all.
Why would I do that? That's crazy.
I remember my uncle, when my aunt had kicked him out because he was a raging alcoholic. It was my stepmother's husband, and her husband was my aunt's. Okay, so this is so weird. So my stepmom and my dad were married. Okay, so dad, stepmom, and my dad's sister was married to Greg, and Greg was my stepmom's brother.
Weird.
Yeah. It's like kind of incestual, but not. Yeah.
Technically not.
Not. Like legally they were, related, like in-laws or whatever, but not biological.
No blood.
Yeah, but so so my dad's sister, my aunt, kicked him out of the house, and he came to stay with us for a while. I guess he got into a really bad car accident or something like that. I don't remember. But I remember when he was living with us, we went in the garage. We were working on the car. I remember it was a New Yorker. I can't remember. I just remember it was called the New Yorker. Was it a Buick or I can't remember. I don't think they even make them anymore. But I had saw him because I was in the car, trying to start the engine and stuff. And mind you, I'm around 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
But I already knew how to drive engine because of people like this.
Yeah, I'm white trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
I 100% get it. And so the hood was up, but you could still kind of see, because they have, the hood is up. Obviously, you can't see everything, but you can see that little bit.
Yeah.
I saw him dig through the boxes, grab a bottle, and slam a bunch of alcohol. And I was like, I don't think he's supposed to be doing that. And I loved my uncle. Like, he was a cool uncle. I really liked him. But, that was the whole reason why I was there. And it was so hypocritical because his sister, my stepmother, also raging alcoholic.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it always is.
Yeah, a bottle of Bacardi a night. Like, her mom died of kidney failure because of how much she drank. This woman was ridiculous. So her trying to tell her brother that when there's booze everywhere in the house, was
my family's the same way.
Yeah.
I have an uncle who is like supposed to be sober because like he's like the only one who ever admitted to having a problem. So now he's like the issue, even though everybody else fucking drinks all the time. But he's like always like on and off the wagon. And the last time I saw him, we were all at a restaurant and he was obviously drinking. And somebody else was like, hey, you know, maybe chill out a little on the booze. And he was like, this is lemonade. And everyone was like, all right, whatever, who cares? And he was like, no, it's lemonade. Like, he got all defensive, was like, it's lemonade. With comedic timing, a server walked over and was like, can I get you another margarita? Like, oh my God. If you had written it into a script, they'd be like, that's too written. Like, that would never happen. It was amazing.
Would you like it? I guess depending on what kind of margarita, I guess it could look like a lemonade.
Yeah, because it was in like a pint glass. And,
It's like, just put it in a pint glass so it looks like lemonade.
Yeah.
We're clever. Alcoholics are very clever people.
You know, you gotta figure it out.
When they want to drink. So your whole family, they're big, heavy drinkers too?
Yeah, I mean, I'm Irish, you know, so it's like...
It's just part of your genetics.
Part of it. Yeah.
That's the thing when it comes with drinking too. A lot of people don't realize that, some of it can be hereditary.
Yeah, and it's also just like cultural.
Yeah.
You know, it's like...
tons of,
Since I've been like 18 years old, it's like the first thing when you walk into someone's house, like, can I get you a drink? And like... They mean a drink. Like, you know, they don't mean, like, a glass of water. But, like, yeah, it's just, like, you grow up like that. You see, like, everybody else is drinking until they fall asleep. So you think it's normal.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, this is just how everyone works. And then you go out and you see how other people act.
Yeah, and you're like, what the hell?
And you're like, oh... is this not normal?
Yeah.
Is this a problem?
I know, who would have thought?
But some people don't realize that at all. You know, they don't pay attention to other people's social cues and stuff like that.
Yeah, I also thought it was, like, normal in comedy, which, like, it kind of is. But only to a certain level, because I was like, oh, everybody's getting shit-faced every night. And it was like, no, everybody's getting shit-faced when they're with you.
Yeah.
But they're not with you every night. But whoever's with you every night is getting shit-faced because you are. And, like, and also I wasn't, like, a problematic drunk. Like,
no, you're super fun. You're quiet. Normally just sit at the bar and drink.
Yeah. Like, I wasn't, like, fighting anybody or, like, getting into too much trouble or anything. So, like, people would always be down to drink with me, you know? And then when I quit drinking, I was like, oh, I don't actually like most of these people. They're just the only people who will stay at a bar till 5 a.m. on a Wednesday.
Yeah, those normally aren't the best people to be around.
No, they're pretty annoying.
Yep. Every once in a while I'll go out and be like, oh, you think they were really good friends.
Yeah.
And no, that was just alcohol. And that's the thing that sucks too, is that you realize a lot of people that you thought were your friends really aren't, and the people that you like pushed away are actually the people that you should be keeping in your life.
Yeah, and most of my friends are still my friends, but they were leaving the bar at 1, you know, like
at a normal time.
Yeah, because they're like normal functional people
that don't need that
like,
access.
Oh, right. I see it now.
Yeah. That's the addict's brain, though.
I know, yeah. I still love staying out late. Like, I'll still stay at a bar till, like, 3:30 or something. Because, like, I still, you know, it's still fun. And, like, I have, like, rampant insomnia anyway. So it's like, alright, I could be at home alone awake, or I could be here awake. So it doesn't really matter. And, like, I also think, like, that made working in bars without drinking kind of easier. Because, like, I thought... for some reason, if I quit drinking, I'd, like, have to go home right after my spot and, like, just sit at home.
And not be like, social or hang out.
And it's like, oh, no, you actually can still go to the party or whatever. And just, like, bring a club soda. And, like, it's fine.
There's other stuff, to drink.
And I have enough sober friends that also like staying out late. Like, most of my sober friends still kind of party on some level, so that's fun.
Yeah. So do you still smoke weed and other stuff?
No.
No, completely sober?
Old school, regular style sober. Not California sober, nothing. Just like...
Not New York sober is where you just do cocaine.
I know. I've been saying the same thing. I wish. I mean, I take, like, prescription Vyvanse, which is kind of like Adderall. But that doesn't count because...
It's prescribed and you need it because you have ADHD.
Yep.
You're doing drugs because they're prescribed to.
It is fun, though. Every time she, like, raises the dose a little for, like, the first day I get to feel high. And I'm
You're like,
woo!
woo!
I love that.
Woo! Yeah,
Just
that
talking.
Right? That happened to me just a couple of days ago because I didn't have any for pretty much the whole month of April, which is probably another reason why some episodes were late and misscheduled and some other shit. And then time release. I got time release this time. Normally I had like the 30s where I could cut them up because I don't like it's the time release ones. But yeah, the first one I was like, oh, I am jacked. And I thought it was a higher dose because I also have 40s that are time release. And it felt like I took a 50. I was like, oh, these are only 30s. I was like, oh yeah, I haven't taken it in a while. Today, this has been about day 3 or 4. Totally normal.
Yeah, it only really lasts like a day for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also had like a very minor surgery like a few months after I quit drinking, like on my jaw. So like I was like awake for it, but they were like, they gave me some sort of like pain medicine that makes you feel kind of high.
Yeah.
So like I had that and I was like kind of dizzy, and they were like, okay, so like we can also give you laughing gas, but because the other medication's working, we don't have to. So it's kind of up to you. And I'd been sober for like maybe 3 months at the time. And I was like, oh, I don't really remember what laughing gas feels like. I mean, like, I've like done nitrous in someone's backyard, but that's different, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, what does laughing gas feel like? And she was like, oh, it feels like you've had a couple drinks. And I was like, yeah. No.
Absolutely.
You're going to give me that. You're definitely giving me that. And they were like, okay, so like when you don't feel like you need to breathe through your nose, and when you do need to breathe through your mouth, because it's like a tube that goes in your mouth, just breathe through my mouth the whole time. Like if I'm gonna get something out of this, you know, like I'm gonna
no, I get it.
I'm gonna definitely do this. And then they also gave me like a benzo.
Okay. For after or whatever.
Yeah, which benzos are like my favorite.
Okay.
I fucking love benzos. And so I took one, and I felt like my brain like wasn't connected to my mouth, like I couldn't talk. But like benzos make me feel so good that I was like, who needs to talk, dude? Like, if I can feel like this forever, I don't need to talk. Like, fuck stand up. Fuck the thing.
Everything. Yeah, that's the thing those drugs do.
Shit?
Be like, you don't need to do anything except for sit here and just feel real good.
Yeah, so then everyone who cares about me was like, you should probably flush those down the toilet. I was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. But if you, because I feel for you that you're probably I would feel more worried if you started drinking again than taking, medication or, taking your prescribed drugs. Yeah, you are getting high. My other girlfriend, she's been sober for 3 years now, but she's been getting a lot of plastic surgery done.
Yeah.
With the pain pills. And some of them she won't take, but yeah, some of them she's like I have to, because I'm in fucking pain.
I think it depends on, like, you have to actually be in pain.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, it was, like, they gave me, I think, Percocet and benzos, and I was not in pain. And they called me to, like, ask me, like, they call you the next day to, like, see how you're doing. And they called me, and I was like, oh, I'm in so much pain. And then I was like, fuck, I'm lying to the doctor.
God damn it.
It's like, shit, I'm doing it again.
Okay, so it's not just alcohol, so it's...
No, it's, like, everything.
Yeah.
Basically, like... Everything I've ever tried, I did until it stopped being fun, and I had to stop. Like,
that's what I did too.
Yeah, like I used to smoke weed all the time. Like the second I woke up until I couldn't stay awake anymore. Like I was like smoking weed all day, every day, until it was like giving me debilitating anxiety. And then I was like, fine, I'll stop. Like everything, I like ride everything until the end, and then I'm like, ugh, fine, okay, it's a problem. Okay, you got me. Okay, like.
But sometimes that's what rock bottom is, and rock bottom for some people doesn't necessarily have to mean losing everything. Right. It could just be the realization that, oh, I am doing that. A lot of people don't have that, though. That's, amazing that you do. I do to a certain extent. Yeah. Like, I can't wake and bake anymore. When in my 20s, I mean, I still smoke pot because it does help with anxiety. It helps me eat. Yeah,
that was a huge thing for me, too.
It helps me, especially with the ADHD. I'll go fucking 10 hours without eating.
I just forget.
And then wonder why I'm like, why do I feel
like this? And with Adderall
this?
And, like, Vyvanse and stuff, it also makes you not hungry. So
the first 2 days, I had to, like, force myself. I didn't eat until the end of the day in the evening. I was like, fuck, and then it was almost like forcing myself.
Yeah, it's like I don't even feel hungry. I just get like a headache. And then
and then I know it's like, well, I am drinking enough water. I have like a water reminder thing that hits me on my watch and my phone to make sure I'm staying fucking hydrated.
Yeah. Oh my god, I've never been more hydrated than I have been since I quit drinking. Because, like, when I go to bars, I still need to have something in my hand.
Oh, yeah. No, that's definitely...
pounding club soda, like, all night. And, like, I've been hydrated all the time, every day, since I quit drinking, because it's, like, I'm still constantly... I need to always have a drink on me. So it's, like, yeah, that's a fun added bonus. You know?
Right. Do you... I like some of the mock cocktails, especially now.
Yeah, but some of them really make you want to drink.
Yeah. Oh, I could see that.
Yeah, some of them
it's
are
a little trigger, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, there's this non-alcoholic liquor company that sells like a tequila. Okay. And my friend who's also sober tried it, and she was like, "Don't drink that," because she was like, "That tastes like tequila," and it immediately makes you want to drink. You know? But some of them are just fun. Some of them
have you tried non-alcoholic beer at all?
Yeah, I went through a little non-alcoholic beer phase, and then I remembered that I never liked beer. So I was like, oh, this is really dumb.
Yeah, you know? If you don't like beer, then it's pointless.
Yeah, there's one, like, non-alcoholic, like, sort of mocktail company that makes some fun ones that are good. And it's also, like, sometimes I like just, like, buying one thing from a bar instead of, like, asking them for club sodas all night because they're not going to charge you, and then, like, they're busy and you're like, me again. Yeah. So it's kind of nice to be like, okay, this thing's $6. I'll order that, and then, like, you don't have to hate me.
Yeah, you know? And tip you and stuff like that.
And I do tip on the club soda.
Yeah,
like,
well, yeah, obviously, you're not a monster.
Yeah.
I always, if I'm not drinking, I'll have, in Wisconsin, we call them kitty cocktails.
Oh.
You know, because they're preparing us for our future.
Yep.
Which is basically just as Shirley Temple is just grenadine and Sprite, but not a lot of grenadine because otherwise it's like too fucking sweet. Because I still need, my brain still wants that sugar intake that you normally get from the alcohol. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to sit here and eat bread or cookies. Yeah. I mean, that's always been my thing too, is like cakes and cookies. If I'm not drinking, all of a sudden, like, I'll notice that I'm eating. All of a sudden I'll get cupcakes. It's like, it's because I haven't drank in a week. All of a sudden my body's like, we're missing something.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was drinking, I was like, never really like a dessert person. Mm-hmm. I would always like much rather get like a cocktail if I went out to dinner than get dessert. Mm-hmm. And I honestly thought I like didn't really like it. And then I quit drinking, and it's like the first month was like, if I don't eat a cookie or something before I go to bed, I'll die.
Right? Yeah. It is like this craving that you have. I wrote a paper back in college that the comparison between sugar and cocaine and what it does to the brain, and there isn't a difference to what it does to the brain.
No, it feels so good.
It's the same little happy chemicals, and then you'll get the sugar crash, and that's one thing that because alcohol is technically a depressant, and then I was reading something, it was like, it's actually you know, it's an upper and blah blah blah. That's why some people will wake up in the middle of the night or you know, really early in the morning, just completely sober and blah blah blah, just like wide awake instead of like just dead, passed out, hungover. Yeah. And that's not necessarily the case. It's because your body just went through a sugar crash basically, and now you're just up from that.
Yeah, I know. People always say like would commend me for being able to get up early after drinking all night, and I was like, yeah, it's because I was having a panic attack.
Yeah.
Like, it's not because I'm like, I'm like an early riser. It was like I couldn't stay in bed because I was like, my anxiety level was so high from coming down off alcohol. Like I want to run around the city. Like I don't know what to do.
Some of that extra energy. Yeah, trying to like balance out, you know, recalibrate the chemicals in your brain, especially doing certain, you know, cocaine, Molly. Like when you do Molly, you can be legally depressed for up to 3 days afterwards, because all that serotonin and dopamine, body just created a bunch of it, and now you have to fucking do it again. Yeah. And so I've always I've been trying now to like how can I do that? Because with an addict's brain, it's harder to control it because that little back part of your brain is like, no, we're gonna do this, and all of a sudden you're doing it like I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's that conscious effort that that takes a lot of work.
Yeah, that willpower.
Yeah, that staying present willpower. I don't have a lot of self-discipline when it comes to nothing. I have no...
Across the board, very little self-discipline.
Which sucks.
That's why I was like, the original plan was to change my relationship with alcohol. That's why I ended up being like, oh, I just can't do it. Just has to be a no. Because for me, it's so much easier to not drink at all than to, like, stop drinking after having a couple. Or, like, drink one night and then not the next.
Yeah.
It's like instead of having to make a series of decisions every day
just
that
make
involve
that one
willpower,
one.
just make the one and be like, all right.
Yeah, because I don't drink a lot, but I binge drink when I do drink.
Yeah,
it is that where I have that college cake stand
fun
mentality. Yeah, and I've been slowing down on that. I can't. It's just the next day. It's just too much. And I guess that maybe is a little bit of self-discipline because I've been meditating, I journal, I have a couple therapy apps, I see a real therapist, but all April, I didn't do any of that shit. Which is normally the time that you're supposed to be doing it the most. You're like, no, when you're happy, of course you'd be like, I'm going to journal because this is great.
When you're happy, who cares?
Yeah, and then when you're not, it's like, fuck, that's when you need to do it the most. So then you get down on yourself for that because it's like, oh, you're not disciplined enough. So now I'm back on that schedule a little bit and it's harder to get back on because you've already done it. You already reached a point where I was doing it for like 4 or 5 months and then all of a sudden you just stop. I also had COVID though.
Yeah.
I got COVID and that fucked with me a little bit.
Yeah, that'll fuck with you, for sure.
I was like, God damn it.
It's also always nice to like have a reason to take a little vacation, if like you get sick or something happens or whatever it is and you can be like, you know what,
it's okay,
we're taking a break for a couple weeks. That's always nice.
It is. I did notice a huge difference though emotionally and like with the not journaling, like not talking to my therapist, like that definitely, even if I don't talk to my therapist, as long as I journal and just like write shit out, I've noticed that I do feel a lot better. Yeah. Mentally, and it does have, meditating just keeps me from, wanting to snap people's necks.
Yeah, maybe I should try that, but it's kind of fun to, it's like now that I'm sober, I'm like, talking shit and getting mad at people is all I have. Like if somebody is, like, trying to, like, gossip without saying someone's name, I'm like, you have to give me this.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm not listening.
Yeah. It's pointless. Like, you're kind of drunk. I'm not. And I'm letting you tell this story. You're going to name names. We're doing this. It's like, that's it. That's all I have. Yeah. My therapist is, like, my best friend. Like, it's probably not healthy. I think I text him every day.
Yeah. My therapist just recently told me some shit that I just started laughing hysterically. He, word for word, he had said, he's like, you let a medium ugly dude whose dick barely worked gaslight you for 2 years. Hilarious. And once you realized it, you snapped and blackmailed him to get your control back. Is that right, Aaliyah? And I was like, well, since you put it that way...
You spell it out,
I feel that my reaction was equal to his level of disrespect and manipulation. Yeah. So he's like, blackmail, though? And I'm like, well, that's what I had at the time. He's like, well, how do you feel about it now? And I'm like, I feel terrible. I feel so guilty. And because, like, it also includes me, I'm also going to get outed for some shit. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm like, well, it's done. It's there. I can't take it back. And he is being more respectful. There you go. So I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. Let a therapist know,
Yeah, but he's like medium ugly dude whose dick barely works.
That's so funny.
I was like, God damn it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love I love when my therapist says something like that that's just, like, so blatant, but I also, like, when I make him laugh in, like, a really genuine way, I'm like, oh my god, I'm crushing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. If you can make your therapist laugh with the dark
so
shit. Yeah,
good.
well, because a lot of times, too, they're the ones where you could tell that dark shit, too. Especially being a comic. Like, I scared a therapist. Like, I had a therapist break up with me because of some suicide joke.
Yeah, my therapist told me I had to stop making jokes about killing myself. Because he was like, I am, like, technically a mandated reporter. And he was like, I know you're joking, but I need you to not.
Yeah. I freaked her out a little bit, and that's fine. I have a dude therapist now.
Me too.
And it seems to be working a lot better. He's older. He's like in his 60s.
Yeah, mine's like in his 40s probably, but I'm in my 20s. So
yeah.
It's like kind of.
Yeah, that
kind of works out. And yeah, I always thought like you gotta have a woman therapist
because you're a woman.
Yeah. And I never liked them, and then this one, my therapist actually like. I guess has a few clients or patients or whatever, I don't know, who are comics. Okay. And somebody, like, recommended him to me.
Nice.
And I found him that way, and I was like, oh, this is way better. Mm-hmm. Like, he's, like, actually...
Like he understands the job. Yeah, guy, he understands the job. I also think the other one, like, she was weirded out, had opinions about the sex work stuff. He's he's gay, so he's, like, sex positive and stuff. So, a lot of people say you like a male therapist because you have daddy issues. I'm like, I have way more mommy issues than I do daddy issues. Did my dad allegedly be a serial killer? Maybe. I don't know. But he was always honest and cool with me. So I don't know what to tell you about it. Did he murder people? Yeah. But he taught me how to ride a bike, too. So I don't know. He did dad stuff.
Yeah.
And some other shit, but...
I also feel like the whole, like, you have daddy issues thing is, like, a fun way for people to blame women for,
it's just a scapegoat. A lot of people with sex workers, they automatically assume, daddy issues. Oh, she didn't have a father in her life. Yeah. A lot of times, most of the time, most sex workers have mommy issues, have some severe mommy issues.
But it's also, like, even if someone does have daddy issues, by saying, like, you're a woman with daddy issues, it's like, okay, but you're putting that on me. I didn't do it.
Yeah, I'm like, you're a dude with fucking mommy issues.
I'm not responsible for my childhood. Like, that wasn't my fault.
Oh, I love it. Daddy issues, mommy issues.
No, people think that about me, too. And I had a very cool dad. But people, whatever.
Maybe he was too cool. My dad was definitely too cool.
Yeah.
So where can people find you online and stuff?
My Instagram is at Lizzy Cassidy, Lizzy with a Y at the end, and on Twitter at Lizaster. It's linked in the Instagram.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
You can obviously find this wonderful podcast on Twitter and Instagram at How to Do Drugs Pod. Please rate and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Audible, everywhere podcasts are. All right, I'm Allegiant, and goodbye.